Make sure y'all are liking. Appreciate y'all.
Talking about Serena Williams and the halftime show and Serena Williams crip walking and what was she doing out there? Was she trolling Drake, or was this just some homage to Compton and blah, blah, blah? Let's play that clip and then we'll start our conversation.
Now, before we play the clip very quickly. I thought this video was shorter, so we're going to get through it. We're not going to watch the whole thing. Don't worry. Before we play the clip, a lot of people defended Serena and, didn't even really see much of a big deal with it. And please remove Drake out of this conversation. I don't even want to go that route. A lot of people said because Serena grew up in Compton, right? It's showing love to her hometown where she was raised. All right, let's keep going.
This was Serena crip walking was really about what happened to her when she did the same crip walk after she beat Sharapova in the 2012 Olympics. She did that crip walk then, and it was on Wimbledon grass, and everyone said that it was disrespectful.
Shout out to Maya. Maya said it was the Olympics. I said it was Wimbledon. So it was on Wimbledon grass, but it was the Olympics. You were right. You got to admit when you're wrong. You were right.
So for Serena, because she was dancing, so she was doing a crip walk, which is
to who, the grass.
It was disrespectful. They actually, she took a lot of criticism for doing that.
Really?
And so when you look at Serena's comments, what she was doing was being her authentic self, an homage to her roots from Compton, and it was Black joy and Black excellence. You've got the greatest female athlete of all time coming out and enjoying herself.
This is the problem with niggas. It was Black joy, Black excellence, whatever else she said. How is mimicking a Crip walk, a gang? The Crip gang, the same gang that's responsible for terrorizing other Black people. We're going to show a clip of Nipsey Hussle, who's a member of this Crip gang that they're talking about, calling out the same thing that I'm calling out. We're going to show that clip later. But how are you so confused as to say why? And the problem is Black people are so lost when it comes to culture, because our culture is dominated by mostly negative things. We are maybe one of the only groups of people where our culture, the main parts of our culture, are all things that are extremely negative. So when a lot of these celebrities, they get to these positions where they make it, they want to feel more and more connected and celebrated amongst the people. So therefore, they turn to the things that are prevalent in the culture, which are largely, like this situation, associated with super negative things. You can't even go into high school and wear a blue rag. You can't wear gang paraphernalia in a school because of what it represents. But now we're acting as if Serena crip walking, because it's Serena, right? A Black woman. Can't say anything about a Black woman. Because of that, now we're not able to see why this would be criticized and why this could be potentially problematic. But this is the essence of Black culture. Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, it wasn't about Drake at all.
I don't understand. Well, why would you even think it was? Why would you think she's not
about
smart?
Drake, though.
Yeah, but that wasn't about him.
That was not about Drake. That was about... She got a chance to do something she wanted to do, and she went and did it. And instead of saying, damn, that was kind of great, you bringing it back to some old stuff that she is...
Nobody cares about the whole Drake thing. Can I fast forward this with it's not about...
And I absolutely love her. I think she's an inspiration to so many women. I was like, oh, okay, she's been married since my husband and I got together. Why would she care to, get when you're just clapping back?
Yeah.
You
You just said take the high road in the last segment.
Oh, I know, but then I got... Not when you're Serena Williams!
Exactly. But again, this was not about Drake. Serena posted on X, I did not crip walk like that at Wimbledon. I would have been fined. This was about Serena being her authentic self and being the essence of Black culture.
But why would...
The essence of Black culture. Serena Williams doesn't have a Black husband. Crip walking to highlight a gang and the gang culture in LA that has destroyed and taken a whole lot of Black lives is the essence of Black culture. I guarantee you Sonny Halston does not and probably did not have to grow up in a neighborhood where she has to worry about dealing with the repercussions of or the reality, I should say, of living in that type of neighborhood where you can get killed for wearing the wrong color. That's the essence of Black culture. And y'all probably looking at me saying like, oh, Dak, it's not that serious. It's never that serious when it comes to niggas. And I'm using that word for a reason. It's never that serious. You know what it reminds me of? See, losers have lackadaisical standards. Every team that I've been on that's been a terrible team, it's not that serious, bro. You'll be all right. It's not that. You know, on winning teams, what the standard is, everything is that serious because everything plays a role and impacts something else. And you know what's so funny? When I think about Italian culture, you think about the mob, we think about the Sopranos, Goodfellas, all of these different things, The Godfather, right? A couple of my mentors that were Italian, one that I'm talking about, one is still my mentor. Both of them. One used to have an issue with watching certain Italian movies, gang movies, because of how they portrayed Italians and not wanting to be associated and that part of the Italian culture being highlighted. The other used to say, well, the way that I sound, I don't want to sound like, like I'm in the mob and this type of stuff. I didn't want that to affect me. Why is it that Black people run towards the things that are most destructive for our culture? And we say, it's not that serious. We excuse. That's what Black culture is. A bunch of excuses. A bunch of excuses why a father's not in the household. A bunch of excuses why a woman should just be able to do whatever she wants. Enjoy her life. Live life, sis. Enjoy your 20s. Don't worry about responsibility. Our culture, the result of our culture, or I should say the cause of our culture, is us making excuses and lessening our standards compared to other people. They run away from being seen as hoodlums. We run towards it and embrace it. We clap for it. We celebrate it. We celebrate when a square like Serena gets up there and does something that comes from a gang culture, something that I know that she hasn't had any association with it. That's what we do. We all have lived through it. Because why? Let's just be honest. That's what's cool. That's what gets the girls. It takes a lot of courage to be somebody who grows up in a neighborhood and does not align themselves with that, does not go towards that, and is just comfortable being themselves, being a square, being a geek, being a nerd, whatever that is. Because that's what the gangsters call you, right? It takes a lot of courage to be that and be okay being that, even though you know that that's not what's going to be celebrated in the now, but it may benefit you down the line. That's just being Black. Let's just be honest. That's what the Black culture creates. Let's keep going. Why do other cultures, why are they less forgiving and make less excuses if they're doing better, but we're doing worse? We are suffering. We are doing terrible in this country. We are in last place talking about, it's all good. It's not that serious. All right.
There was a lot of interesting things said there, but the last deal, this is Serena being her authentic self. This is,
I don't know if he said her name. Shy said, didn't he say her name in the song? I don't know if he said her name in the song. That's completely irrelevant. Serena could have been on stage doing whatever, dancing, doing all type of stuff. She did not have to be crip walking. Like, it's real cool for us. This is the problem. For us listening right here, it's just entertainment. It's not that serious. None of us are going to go outside and see somebody with a red flag and have an issue and be asked, where you from, cuz, and all this. None of us have to deal with that. But you know who has to deal with it? A lot of kids from the ages of 8, maybe, let's say 9, 10, up until when? Their 30s. And then they're going to be in the same neighborhoods because they can't afford to move out because they've gotten into so much trouble. They got priors. They got all these things. So now they got to stay in the same environment that hindered their success in the first place. It's that serious to them. It's not that serious to me. I could listen to all different types of music. I could watch all different types of movies. I could celebrate Crips, Bloods, Vice Lords, GDs, BDs. I could celebrate all that stuff, and it will not affect me. But in reality, there's a lot of people that are stuck in those situations and that are going to become, like all of us become, product of our environments. So we need to look out for them rather than just thinking about, well, it's not that serious because, you know, it ain't gonna bother us. Let me see what my bro Skeeg wrote. Recruit the youth to gang life on the biggest show of the year. This was the issue, and this is the thing. A lot of people are going to say, "Well, I'm just picking on her because she's a woman." No. Matter of fact, Jason Whitlock, when it was Snoop Dogg, when Snoop was on there with Dr. Dre, he brought Snoop out, and Snoop was out there smoking weed and crip walking. He had the same thing to say. It shows us, it portrays us in an extremely negative light. Other cultures, we don't see them doing that. We don't think other cultures smoke weed. We don't think other cultures are infatuated by certain things that may not be the best qualities or bring out the best parts of their group's culture. Yeah, they just don't advertise it on the world's biggest stage. Even if they want to, there's probably higher ups that won't even allow it. I'm not going to get too much into that conversation. Skeeg wrote, we're our biggest downfall and the other race just letting off ourselves. We are our biggest downfall and the other race just letting off ourselves. I get what you're saying, bro. I get what you're saying, bro. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. I see some people falling off. Sometimes that's what happens when you had these type of combos. Let's keep going.
About Black excellence and Black culture, Crip walking. And so it, what is Black culture? How has the mainstream legacy media defined Black culture? How do the average ordinary, and let's be real about it, what does the average ordinary Black American think is Black culture? Have we all decided that gang culture, hip hop culture is Black culture? Is there a consensus? Maybe you and I are outside of that, but maybe everyone else or most people disagree with us. When I get online, I want to know that I'm safe. That's why I love ExpressVPN. They keep my clicks.
Well, Jason, I wanted to say something really quick on a factual point, right? Because I've heard this thing.
Please listen to this. Remember what I said earlier in this video where it's okay. She's just paying homage to, you know, her neighborhood that she grew up in, probably spent, you know, her middle school, teen years in, had a strong connection with. We understand that.
You know, Serena's from Compton. She grew up in this area. And I get it. If you grew up in certain areas, there's a culture surrounding you that even if you don't actively participate in it, it's just there. I looked on her Wikipedia page. Serena Williams was born in Saginaw, Michigan, moved to Compton when she was young, let's call it 3 years old, and left Compton for Florida because her parents saw she had potential in tennis when she was 9 years old. She didn't even go, and she was homeschooled, apparently, by her dad. So she wasn't outside, as the kids say. She didn't even go to middle school, let alone high school. She wasn't out there with the 8 trays and the rolling 60s, and they say, oh, that's just little Serena from the block. So this whole thing where this is just part of what Serena grew up with, I find it hard to believe, knowing that she spent her formative years in Florida. So she should be doing more of the Gator Chomp than the Crip Walk. But to your question,
homeschooled and left when she was 9 years old. But that's her culture. All right. Maybe that actually makes a great point. Maybe that's how strong gang culture is out there. If just from her being from 3 to 9, she feels such a connection with her Crip roots and her LA roots to where she needs to Crip walk on the biggest stage in the world. Maybe that shows just how strong the gang culture is. The problem is it's not a positive look. It's a negative influence. So the fact that she was only there from 3 to 9 years old and was homeschooled, imagine the impact that it has on little kids that actually had to grow up there, not get homeschooled, go to middle school, walk to school through those neighborhoods and be careful about the things that they had to wear, then go to high school, then maybe be in the same neighborhood for 10 more. Who knows? No matter what argument you make on this, and probably a lot of y'all, as y'all were making you know what? Let me not assume. Let's keep going.
About what is Black culture, I think it depends on who you ask and in what context you ask it. I'll say it this way. when a black artist is winning awards, let's say Beyonce winning a Grammy for her, country album, or a black athlete is winning an award or a Super Bowl, whatever the case may be, then I think black folk are like, yes, this is for the culture. This is a win for the culture. But when a hip hop artist is being criticized for the content that they put out there, for the guns, the murder, the ops, the drugs, the degradation and disrespect for women, then that same person will say, "Oh no, you can't. That's not black culture. That's hip hop. That's that particular individual." Because I think for many people,
let me be clear, and I'm gonna answer your a couple questions came up. Skeeg wrote that question: who would you have to perform at the Super Bowl? Black culture. I actually don't mind Kendrick performing. I'm a Drake guy. Kendrick's probably more appropriate to perform at the Super Bowl than Drake, just being totally honest. I've told y'all I've been stopped liking Drake before the battle. The only reason why I got back on him because I felt like y'all tried to jump my man and I had to get in the mix. I had already stopped listening to Drake because I felt like his music wasn't growing. It wasn't helping me grow. It wasn't maturing in a way that for him to have the influence that he has on so many people, I was comfortable with. So I got no problem with Kendrick performing. The problem is Serena. And the problem isn't even Serena, if I'm being real with you. This is just, I'm just using this to highlight something bigger. Let's be honest, Serena Crip walking at the halftime show, like nobody's like moved by that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's probably a lot of the it's the other stuff that goes along with it. It's who we celebrate. It's that type of thing. So I don't have a problem with Kendrick performing at all, to be totally honest. I don't have a problem with Kendrick performing. And even the things that Kendrick performed, Kendrick has a lot of music that I feel is appropriate music. And I felt like I didn't even hear the total performance, to be totally honest. Like I was watching it, couldn't really hear it. I was at it like a Super Bowl party. But based on what everybody said, he didn't curse. There was a lot of stuff. It seemed like an appropriate performance. I'm just using this to highlight something bigger in our culture, to highlight a problem in our culture. The fact that Serena feels that it's the cool thing to do. Why does Serena feel that it's the cool thing to do? We talk about it all the time, that we are in a cool battle. We are in a cool battle because that's what influences people. Whatever people think is cool, that's what they follow. So the question is, why is it cool to be associated with gang culture? Why is that something that we're so attracted to? Why is it something that the Black culture is so attracted to compared to a lot of these other cultures? Why is it something that we're so attracted to when the people that started a lot of these gangs were starting these gangs for totally different reasons than we see what they've turned into now and are probably rolling over in their graves because they died from an activist standpoint, because that's what a lot of these gangs were created as. And now you got people killing each other when that's not what it was. It was supposed to be about protection. It's supposed to be about free breakfast. It was supposed to be about protecting the neighborhood from a lot of the corrupt cops. That's what a lot of these gangs started as. But what they've morphed into is now something that now destroys our communities. So that's what the conversation is about. Serena Crip walking, I don't think that a lot of people, just to be totally honest, I don't think a lot of young kids are saying, yo, I saw Serena Crip walking, I'm about to go join a gang. I don't think it's that. So don't take it what anything I'm saying is that. It just goes to show you why Serena, a square, and when I say square, I mean a non-gangbanger, somebody who's not into that. And as a square myself, I feel that I'm entitled to call Serena a square. Somebody that's not into any of that. I feel like I should be able to call out why there's such an attraction. Why there's such an attraction from people who didn't even grow up in that life to be a part of it, and how that ultimately impacts the people that actually have to grow up in that neighborhood. That's all I'm saying. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. I actually want to show y'all very quickly that clip that I was talking to y'all about with Nipsey. Let me show y'all that clip very quickly. It's a short. Where did I save it? All right, I got it on the other. Let me show y'all this clip. I thought that this was a great clip to show, and then we'll bounce back to Jason Whitlock, maybe, or we'll just move on to the next video. Sha said, Dak, you have. Come on, baby. I'm just me. I'm just me. I'm just me. All right, let me get to this video. We can't make it any larger. All right, there we go. Let's hear what my bro Nip got to say, man. Is it on mute? Hold on.
As a gangbanger, right, when you go on a mission, when you looking for your so-called enemy, you driving through a different hood, down the street, you know, it's an invisible line. You cross this street, now you in another hood, and you hunting. And when you looking, you gonna pass up the dude that's dressed square, right? You gonna pass up a dude from a different race. When you see somebody that's dressed like you dress, and got the walk like you got, and got the body language like you gonna say, there you go, get him. And that's deep. Whew, you know what I'm saying? When you really unpack that. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You looking for yourself just on the other side of town. And you gonna hop out and attack him and try to down him in a real way. Being caught up in gangbanging culture, you don't think that deep. You just think of, these niggas came through and shot the hood up. We about to go back through there and return the favor. As a gangbanger, right, when you go on a mission,